defense in the first half was absolutely electric. Held VMI under 30% shooting, and I think it was under 20% from three. So as a coach, looking at it, blah, 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 if I could talk, watching it from your seat, what did you think of the defense there in the first half?
Yeah, I thought our defense was, pretty much what we've been seeing consistently, almost every game. We've been playing really good D. We've been getting better at certain things about, contesting shots, hands to the sky, defending without fouling in that regard. Very good with the scouting report in the first half and knowing their players, that's huge. And then we rebounded the ball. So obviously second half was a little different story. But I think some of that can be attributed to, in the beginning, our bad offense, turning the ball over, which led to easy things for them. And then seemed like the lid went on the basket again. We've had big leads in second halves 3 times this year, and we don't turn it over. We have 4 quick turnovers the rest of the half. We didn't really turn it over. We got good shots, and they didn't go in. So we just got to learn, how are we going to stop those offensive lulls? Because I think that lull offensively sort of hurt our defense at that juncture. And then we got to get better at knowing, well, even if we have a lull offensively, it can't hurt our defense. We got to have that type of maturity. You got to be that kind of team where, okay, well, we're not scoring. Well, we got to make sure our defense is even better now. But a veteran team is one that does that. We're still working towards that. So, but I'm happy overall with our defense. Obviously, second half, not so much, but obviously good enough to get our 4th win in a row.
Absolutely. And so, you kind of touched on it there, the second half defense. So obviously wanted to be a little bit more stout there in the second half. But for one, they didn't give up the lead. They still managed to keep the wire-to-wire thing going. But, what do you feel was the shift from what they did in the first half to, about the first 10 or 12 minutes in the second?
Yeah, like I just said, I think, again, we've been focusing on ourselves. I don't really know if it was much of a shift by VMI or more our continued development and growth in terms of our maturity to play 40 minutes. That's something we've stressed. We got to learn how to play 40 minutes. If we, after 3 games, first 34 minutes we were plus 27, last 6 were minus 27. We've gotten better. When we've won over this 4-game stretch, we've definitely gotten better playing 40 minutes, but playing 40 minutes includes the first 4 minutes of the second half. Can't be an 11-2 them with 4 turnovers by us. It can be 6 for them. That's okay. And that's what I mean by just learning the nature of every game. How are they playing you? How's the flow of the game going? And always, knowing that because, that's, you got to think the game. You got to know the game. You got to know time and score. We have to keep getting better at that. I've said to our guys, you're up 12, that's the most important possession of the game because if you have a great offensive possession and you go up 15, whoa, that's different, And again, I think that's a mature team that knows that, and that's what stops, leads from coming down to, say, 3 or 5 and staying at 9, 11, and 12, and there's a big difference there. And, I was really happy with at 3, 40-37, we came back and, stretched it right back out to 9. Got it into double digits, and, we're able to just sort of gain control of the game again. And again, I think it's certainly improvement and growth from our guys.
Absolutely. Kind of honing in on that point, the 40-37. So first half, Bo is tremendous, 16 points, 7 and 10 from the field. Then he gets a little bit cold, but, once it's 40-37, then Ethan kind of takes over things. Being able to have that duality with your players and, have one pickup after the other may fall off slightly, whatever it may be. How important was it for the team overall and then for the game today?
Well, again, the thing I'm most happy about is that's been every game with those 2 guys, and then when we say Bo, sometimes it's you throw Corbin in there, but the center position and Ethan Taylor, the production today, 19 and 8, 19 and 8. That's 2 juniors. And that's so important, and they've done it every game. There's a consistency to that. That's so important because, okay, we have that. Opens the door for a 3rd guy to step up and say, I'm playing well today. And when you get to 3 and 4 guys playing well, you win. And Jeff Mills stepped up today. But again, it starts with those 2 guys. And what I liked about Bo was he might have gone cold, but then I think when they made it 7 again, 55-48, Bo put in 2 little, round the basket, little jump hooks and little bucket there, and that's just called how you win games, and it starts with winning games, starts with having a couple guys like that who consistently through 7 games have come out every single game and played well. And the message to the other guys, is and will continue to be, everybody's got to be ready to contribute, and it's so important because that's how you support Bo and Ethan. That's what makes a team a team. I don't know if we got enough. It's the first time we haven't really gotten that. But the fact that we still got it from Ethan and Bo and having that consistency, we're still able to figure out a way to win the game.
Jump into the second half with you. Let's see, you guys, it was 40-37 in the second half, and then you hit a key pair of threes. How were you able to do so, get those clutch buckets in such a tough moment with the team, close it with the Keydets closing in on you guys?
It's just experience. Also my teammates give me confidence, and I saw that, we were struggling. The scouting report nowadays has been don't let me get open shots, so I knew I had to do something to, put us on the map and keep the game flowing in our favor. So called 2 key plays for myself, and ball went in.
Absolutely. And so I'm going to mix references here. Bo did the damage in the first half and then, passed the baton off to you essentially in the second half. I think you put up 11 there in the second half. So what was behind that takeover, from you going to, not to say that you were cold by any means in the first half, but getting so hot there in the second?
It's just knowing when it's going to come to me, something that we've been trying to work on, especially with this new role I've been having, just not trying to go at the game, let the game come to me. And, Bo does a really good job of taking care of his disadvantages whenever guys, playing off of him or doing other things. He does a really good job of taking those advantages, and that's what we want him to do. In the second half, guys just were looking for someone to score, and I realized that I need to be that guy.
Yeah, and, saying that you need to be that guy versus, actually doing so, that change in mindset, going from point guard, distributing, getting the ball out to, basically taking over, what was that switch like there?
It's just basketball for me. I've never been a guy who's just been stuck in one role all my life. I've had different roles. Coaches needed me to do different things, and so I try to be versatile. So, as the game goes along, I might not need to score at the beginning of the game. I might need to get my teammates going, but I know that, once the game gets close or we need some tough buckets on the road, I can be that guy who can score for us down the stretch.
And so let's see, I think you guys were up as much as 18 there in the first half, 16 early in the second. They close it to 3. Coach doesn't call timeout. There's no media timeout. What's going on through your guys' head at that point?
For me, I know, teams go on runs, and normally guys, they lose morale and heads drop. But I think coach not calling timeouts is just like believing in us, and it kind of motivates me to keep going. Knowing that I have faith in I have confidence in my teammates, and I know they have faith in me and confidence in me as well. So we got to whenever stuff like that happens to us, we just buckle down and just try to, get a bucket on that next play or get a stop on that next play, because that's what we practice. We practice those runs and, 5-point games, 8-point games. Just knowing how to play out of those moments, so that coach we don't have to waste time out on those moments. We can gather ourselves within the 5 that's on the court.
First half there had 16 points, 7 to 10 from the field. You were absolutely cooking out there. How were you able to manage that in the first half?
I just I know what shots I'm getting in the offense, just hitting those, getting hot, knowing that I can hit those shots, just being confident, and just I'm seeing them go through the hoop, and just kind of getting them up, getting good rhythm. It's like what I work on with coaches. So.
And so there in the second half, you guys started off probably a little bit slower than you wanted to. They closed the lead to 40-37. Defensively, or coming out of the second half, what do you feel was the difference? What was the difference that allowed them to cut into that lead?
I think it's just because we were getting open shots. It was just they weren't falling, and that happens. We get into a slump sometimes. But really, really big, just buckle down, play defense, run our plays, and then Ethan was able to call those 2 plays for himself. So I was looking for him for those shots, and then him hitting those was huge for us.
Absolutely. And we just heard Ethan's response, but from your point of view, was there any concern or worry, once they cut into that lead and it was 40-37, you saw the lead go from 18 to 3 at that point?
It's something we've been working on as a team, just we in the second half there's a point of time where we kind of go into a slump and then they start going on a run. It's just knowing that we need to turn the momentum, just like it's a momentum game, making sure that we're just going to buckle down on defense, get rebounds, and that's how we're going to get ourselves back into the game. Like we're going to open layup and then I'll bring us back, get some open shots, and then we can get a win after that.
Absolutely. And they're in the first half. You guys held them to under 30% shooting. I think it was under 20% from three. What was the magic that worked for you guys on defense in the first half? And I also believe you had 4 blocks there in the first half. So what was the magic on defense for you guys there?
Just knowing who their players were. We have a scouting report on all of them. Just knowing who the shooters were, knowing who the drivers were, which guys were going left, which guys were going right. And that was a big part of the first half in our defense.